bless us this morning as we take up our pursuit of knowledge, ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Today, the physical factors. Proverbs 26:2, curse does not come without a cause. Isaiah 1:18, come now, let's reason together regarding the causes of hypertension. And this means men must begin to what? Think. And that is dangerous. So for an example, you go to the doctor, right? You're a thinking man or a thinking woman. I got some bursitis in my shoulder. Doc says I want to give you a shot of cortisone or steroids. And you say what?
What's that gonna do?
I mean, let me think on that one. Why do you want to do that? What's it going to do for me? Then I'm going to reason from cause to effect. I got a problem. There must be a cause. Is that shot going to address the cause? Or is it going to just what?
Just the symptom.
Band-aid it.
Band-aided it. Just a symptom. Hide the pain. So let's just take for a 30-second lesson in reasoning from cause to effect. They call it the silent killer. Because often it what?
Kills.
Before you know you have it. Hypertension, you know you're dead, then you find out you have hypertension. So the question is, now, a thinking man, a thinking woman, why hypertension? Why? Okay, let's say you're the doctor. I come to you, 220 over 160. Generally, you'll give me a what?
Blood pressure medication.
Yeah, some kind of diuretic, calcium blocker, something. There are a lot of paths, right? You got the osteopath, the homeopath, the naturopath, the allopathic medicine. The medicine is a traditional medicine at any given time. Then you have us, cause and effect reasoners. So hypertension, huh? Well, let me give you a pill. Didn't fix the problem. What's the problem? Give me the causes of hypertension.
Lack of exercise.
Lack of exercise.
What does that mean?
Hypertension means your blood pressure's high.
Too much fat.
Too much fat, too much cholesterol.
Oh, yeah.
Diet, I can sum it up, diet.
cholesterol.
Give me another.
Stress.
Stress? Oh, sure, stress. Give me another.
Too much salt.
Yes, sodium, too much salt.
Alcohol.
Yes, alcohol. Give me
Smoking.
smoking, not getting enough sleep at night. There are many, many factors. So once you assault me with all these factors and you say, look, you got to change this, I say, back off, give me a pill. Because it's a lot what? Easier. Easy street and the road to healing are not the same. Sorry to say. I wish it were, right? So remember I said way back when, 2-3 days ago, you had the axon. It's coated with something called a myelin sheath, a purple jacket in the pictures. This is what it looks like. It's composed of Schwann cells that expedites the transmission down the axon and insulates the axon. Now, in the book over on the shelf there, Neil Nutley's Proof Positive, he has a whole chapter on this, on hypertension. It's really good. He did some research and demonstrated if you have hypertension, you have disintegration of the myelin sheath on the axons. That's not good, right? So now you get your 240, 160, you take a pill. Will a pill bring the numbers down? Yes. No, yes, it will. Question, how does it do it? But it does bring them down. So now once the numbers are down, you're 120 over 180. You're looking good on the blood pressure. 120 over 80. Thank you, Brian. You got to get it. You're back down to the somewhat normal range. Guess what? The myelin sheath is still what? Disintegrating, because you cannot short circuit the transgression of the health laws with a pill, right? That makes sense. And it does to any reasoning or thinking man, it does make sense. You know this picture of?
Yeah.
David Letterman.
And? Yeah.
Squidward?
Yeah, it's on the tip of your tongue. It's on the tip of your tongue. It starts with an R, right? Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Robin Williams.
Yeah, he's dead now.
He's dead now. And he did not die of a heart attack.
No.
But he did have bypass surgery. And of course he's making jokes about, and so did David Letterman. I was working on I got it in the back of my mind, a lecture on hypertension. Because when Robin Williams was on the David Letterman show, they had something in common. They both had bypass surgery. And so they made jokes about each other's bypass, and they showed a picture, and it's just what they're doing. Because when the world hears jokes about bypasses, they think it's hilarious, a lot of fun. Because everybody's doing it, right? Everybody has one. And the question is, what is a heart bypass anyway? Now, I'm not going to read all this, but generally you can read it as I say something. There is a problem regarding circulation in the heart. And because insufficient blood is arriving at the heart, they cut something out of your leg, a vein, and they reroute the blood around the blockage to your heart. That's what it says. The coronary arteries supply the heart's muscles with oxygenated blood. If they are blocked, then you need a bypass or reroute. It's like Atlanta. I grew up in Atlanta. We have a bypass, I-285, that goes around Atlanta. So they bypass the blockage, and they usually cut the vein out of your leg. I have a picture of that, right? So that's what they do. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So why you may need heart bypass surgery. And basically, most scholarly articles pointing to the cause of bypass surgery, what caused it is, and the word's right there, starts with a P.
Plaque.
But they hardly ever tell you what plaque is.
Oh, is that the, you know, you don't brush your teeth?
No, different kind of plaque. That's one, right?
Yeah.
You don't want that one either. A different kind of plaque. The constituents of plaque, you know, calcium, it contains several things, but the great one main constituent that is dangerous for heart health is cholesterol, fat cholesterol, saturated fat cholesterol. That's what it is. Now, Dean Ornish, I read this the other day, remember? In our genes lecture, that Dean Ornish back in 1990, I think it was, came out with all this research saying nobody has to have a heart attack, nobody has to have a stroke, nobody has to have heart disease. It's a thing of the past. It's over. If you'll just change your, and it says in the bottom part, lifestyle. And he gave us evidence. Now, this is something I did not read the other day that Dean Ornish said. Eating a vegetarian diet, walking, exercising every day, and meditation is considered radical. But if somebody wants to cut you open and cut your leg open and reroute your heart, that's what?
Radical. Extreme.
Crazy.
What if something go wrong and
They
you
don't consider it normal,
Normal.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, vegetarian's radical. You're eating what? And this is so allowing someone to slice your chest open and graft your leg veins into your heart is considered normal. Not only that, conservative. So you have these lifestyle doctors, Dean Ornish, T. Colin Campbell, Neil Barnard, Wes Youngberg, all these lifestyle doctors. Here are some of the books that Bill Clinton began to read as a result of his what? Bypass surgery. Now, this is T. Colin Campbell in the China study. This is what Esselstyn is saying about heart attacks. No more heart attacks. And that's what Campbell is saying too. No more diabetes. Heart attacks can be almost done away with. Diabetes can be done away with. Breast cancer, no more. Just some simple lifestyle changes. So Bill Clinton, he decided to get out of McDonald's and get into health. And you know the rest of the story. He was wearing his high school size clothes. He dropped 22 pounds and became a lean, mean walking machine. And then on this interview with CNN, it's got Bill Clinton and Esselstyn and Ornish talking about Bill Clinton's plan. But it's nice. I like this interview. I'm not going to show it this morning. I don't have time. I think I've shown it before. I'm not going to show it this morning because I don't have time. But it's nice to hear as these two men give the theory, Bill Clinton sitting there saying, look at me. I'm living evidence that it works. But now, a simple statement from our health manual, Ministry of Healing. Basically, if you want perfect health, you need perfect what?
Blood circulation.
Yes and yes. Because of perfect circulation is carrying perfect blood. And the number one cause of death is a circulation disease, heart and blood vessel disease. So that's simple. I can appreciate that. Now, this morning, our subject is not physical health. It is mental stability, mental health, and how that depends on your physical habits. In other words, when you break the health laws, what does it do to your ability to think? You say, well, that looks like heart bypass material. No, now we're going to brain bypasses. You know they do brain bypasses, don't you? Heart bypass, brain bypass. Most folks never heard of that. Yeah, this is going to the brain, not to the heart. Now, before we begin, people that have severe depression, Neil Nedley is about to do a lot of sophisticated PET scans and tests. I'll read you the result in a second. He has discovered that if people have debilitating depression, guess what goes down in their brain? Starts with a C.
Cholesterol in the brain.
No. Close. Good guess.
Circulation?
Circulation. Now we read. It didn't surprise you, right, though? Right, this person has depression. In order to think straight, to think right, you need perfect circulation. Why? What's in the blood that your brain needs?
Oxygen.
Every oxygen, nutrition.
Nutrients.
These take away the waste, everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sophisticated brain scans, PET scans, reveal that depressed patients may have a 60% reduction in frontal blood flow. In working with depressed patients, and then Neil Nedley, in his approach to depression, is seeking to do something that will elevate circulation in the front part of the brain. A cerebral artery bypass procedure is much like a cardiac bypass. Now, why do you need a brain bypass? Because your brain's not getting sufficient circulation. You need a bypass or reroute. This time it's your brain, not your heart. A cerebral artery bypass procedure is much like a cardiac bypass procedure. I took this out of medical books. But where a cardiac bypass procedure is done on an artery that feeds the heart, a cerebral artery bypass procedure is done on an artery in the brain. An artery bypass procedure is done to treat severe cerebral artery narrowing down stenosis. Intracranial stenosis is a narrowing of the artery inside the brain. Now, this picture is of a normal artery going to the brain. I know it's hard in a little picture. Can you see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
There is a narrowing down, a thickening of the leaflets on these arteries going into the brain. A buildup of plaque. That's it. So we've got plaque in your blood vessels going to your brain. Now, if you don't have enough oxygen in the brain, first of all, you get depressed, and it's just hard to think straight, think right. Now, on the right is the bad guy. On the left is the good one. Now we reason from cause to effect, right? You want on the left, right? By the way, I need all the help I can get when it comes to thinking. How about you? Oh my God, I don't know anything. I need all the help I can get. Any advantage I can get to help this thing work, I need. I can't even remember people's names anymore. So there's a normal artery. On the right artery here, it's narrowed by what? There's that word again, plaque. Now the next question is, how does the plaque get into the blood vessels? That's why you don't want LDL. LDL and HDL are both, they're both fatty. They're
carriers.
They're carriers. They are. I'm looking for it's on the tip of my tongue. Can't think of the word. They carry. The problem with the HDL, it carries to the liver where it's metabolized. The LDL has a tendency to pack it in the blood vessels. This is why you want low LDL and high HDL. So you got, well, I got low LDL and I got this, but how did it get there? Where's the culprit? What's the cause?
Cholesterol.
Yeah. How'd it get there?
For food.
Yeah, that's it.
Fatty food.
Well said. Psalms 8 verse 2. Out of the mouth of babes thou hast perfected praise. Yeah, that's what you're eating.
Jesus.
Yeah, you're eating yourself to death right into the coffin.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the simple reality. We are killing ourselves with our diet. Now, this is what Ornish and Esselstyn told Bill
That's what I was
Clinton.
thinking last night to myself.
Yeah, you
All the morning bacon, egg, and cheeses I had, and then the honey buns, and then the chips.
Now, two concerns with that kind of diet. Number one, it destroys your heart.
Yeah.
Number two, your ability to think goes where?
Down.
Boom, right to the trash
And
can.
then you smoke a cigarette after.
We'll get to cigarettes in a second. But there's a picture of, and you see where the blue on the right and the left on the red, red on the left. You have oxygenated blood and you have blood that's deoxygenated. But what's the thing in the middle? The transfer of oxygen that takes place in the capillary, right? This is where the transfer takes place. Oxygen is dumped off in the capillary, supplied to cells, and takes on waste products. Now here's a picture of precapillary sphincters. It narrows down smaller and smaller and smaller. And in those small fine capillaries, even the pressure and the push on the capillaries helps empty the oxygen out of the red blood cell. That's a picture of a what?
Red blood cell.
Its job is to carry what?
Oxygen.
So how many cells in your brain?
Million.
You remembered, right? More than the stars in the sky or the sand in the sea, and every cell in that brain needs oxygen. You cannot toy with the circulation to the brain without compromising your ability to what? Think. So now there's a picture. There's a fact, 30 trillion. One time I said something, this was a lecture somewhere. I said 64,000 red blood cells will fit on the head of a pin. Lady jumped up, she said, "Did you count them?" I said, "No, I'm sorry. I took it out of a book." How can you count something you can't see? You can't even see it. You got 30 trillion. The nearest star to our sun is Alpha Centauri. It's 24 trillion miles away. You know how long it would take to walk 24 trillion miles? Well, let's say Clive is going to walk to Alpha Centauri. I could empty the ocean 25 times with a teaspoon before you got there. A sparrow could take his beak and rub away Mount Kinley before you even got a fourth of the way there.
His whole lifetime, maybe.
No, try like 100 billion years. It's not going to happen. 30 trillion is a figure that is so, we can't even wrap our minds around, and that's how many red blood cells you have.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting fact about the capillary transfer of oxygen is this. There's the capillary. In order for the red blood cells, how big are they?
Tiny.
In order for the red blood cell to go to the capillary, they got to line up and go through how?
The
One
tubes.
by one. One
One.
by
And they have to almost fold themselves a little bit to fit into the capillary. And that pressure helps aid in the transfer, one by one. So tell me then, how big is the capillary?
Very small.
Microcirculation, and that's what you have in your brain.
It's like an atom.
Anything that disrupts,
Yeah.
circulation, you're looking for trouble.
Oh,
Now,
look
there
at that! Look at that! Oh, dang!
Now, here's the challenge with, of course, that's a staged photo, right? Because if he really smoking those cigarettes, he'd be dead in a few seconds. You know, all those carcinogens, yeah, benzopyrene, 1,000 carcinogens in cigarettes. Cigarettes will kill you dead as a doornail, right?
Yeah.
Not only that, every time you smoke a cigarette, nicotine, by the way, lots of things in a cigarette, the carbon monoxide in the cigarette blocks the hemoglobin bust. The red blood cell has a constituent part called hemoglobin. The hemoglobin transports the oxygen. The carbon monoxide in the cigarette fills up the bust and the oxygen can't get on. This is why people that smoke trying to get up a hill, they can't get sufficient oxygen to their brain. Now the nicotine, when you smoke a cigarette, you got 7 seconds and every blood vessel in your body constricts. And somebody said, well, I'm glad I don't smoke cigarettes. Do you like Coke or coffee or tea or chocolate? Nicotine has a twin sister called caffeine and the family of alkaloid poisons. Does the same thing. When the Darlene quit drinking, Darlene was, we drank coffee addicts. We stopped drinking coffee and everything. And one day we're coming back from, this was 22, 23 years ago. We're coming back from Chattanooga going 75, stopped and got a Diet Coke. That has caffeine, right?
Yeah.
We were going to my mother's house to take her blood pressure. She had a lot of hypertension. Darlene took mom's blood pressure, 180 over whatever, 130 or something like that. And then I took hers. Now my wife's blood pressure usually 105 over 70, 65. I took Darlene's blood pressure 135 over, anything over 140 over 90 is considered hypertensive.
Yeah.
I took Darlene's blood pressure and it was high. I looked at her, she looked at me, and we said what?
No more coffee.
Diet Coke. Caffeine will constrict every blood vessel in about 7 seconds.
Oh,
Now,
that's pretty cool.
I know, it is interesting. The body is interesting. It's fearful and wonderful, right? Because of the way it's made. Now, this is a billboard I found somewhere. Would you let your children smoke? A 3-year-old? No. But your risk factors for eating a high cholesterol diet are higher than if you smoke, as far as chance of developing cancer and all these other things. Now the slogan for this figure up on the corner, I don't want to use any names this morning, they had a year where it says, don't you trust me? The answer is, no, not with my health. I don't trust anybody with my health. Do you? I hear crazy things all the time. Don't you hear crazy ideas all the time?
Besides you.
Don't trust anybody with your health. Get out there and find your research and do your studying and everything. But this is one thing people don't know. When you buy cereal, what's in there? Come on, it's a simple thing.
Sugar.
Cereal killer, right?
High fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, high fructose corn syrup, which is the cheapest, the most abundant, the unhealthiest. Why they put it in there? Because it's the cheapest.
Yeah.
And then the Time magazine and their dangers on cholesterol, this, that, and the other. So take a guess what the 20 best artery cleansing foods are. Check my clock here. Okay.
Artichoke.
Let's lay down a rule. Any food that doesn't have,
Fat.
Cholesterol.
I was gonna say cholesterol.
Yeah.
And I agree with Brian, but I'm gonna make a distinction. There are good
fat.
and
Bad fat.
give me the line of demarcation.
Nuts.
Plant-based.
Nuts is good fat.
You're saying what she's saying. She's saying plant-based, you say nuts. Right? She agrees, but I agree, we all agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, nuts are good. Handful of nuts a day to cut your risk of heart disease by a whole lot. So fats are good, right? Your body needs fat to make cell membranes. Fats are good. What's my favorite fat? I don't know. I'm torn between avocado and walnuts. How about you? All day long, me too. There are a lot of great fats out there. We got fat in our food here, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
The good kind, right? Yeah, flaxseed. I don't like flaxseed fat. Kind of, you know. That's all right. Cholesterol, but it sure has a lot of good things in there.
Mm-hmm.
So cholesterol is a key component. I don't read it so much for this. This was a picture I found in some kind of health magazine. I read it for this. Hardee's there's a restaurant that makes some kind of a big old thick burger. Can't remember the name of the restaurant. Makes a big old fat thick burger. Now, one egg versus the thick burger. Which has more cholesterol? Think before you answer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Here you go. The fat. Oh, I wrote.
Cholesterol.
Erase that. The thick burger. It's about the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the same.
Oh, wow.
And you say, well, how can, because an egg has a cholesterol index boom, sky high.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to stroke out, get on eggs. And that is science and fact.
Oh, eggs is bad?
Well, it's one of the highest cholesterol foods in the universe.
Really?
Yeah. Now, don't believe me. You go to your Google and search, how much cholesterol is in
I need
that.
my phone back, Pat.
No, you don't need that. You wait, go home. So there's most American, the great American, the most American thick burger. And it is most American, right? Highest rate of heart disease in the world is America, Norway, these developed countries with this developed diet. In fact, there was a man in Jamaica. My friend down in Jamaica, he called me up, it was hot, was mad at me. He said, listen, you sent all this junk food down here to Kingston. We got, what do they have down there now? I don't know. Kentucky Fried Chicken, what else? Pizza Hut.
Burger King.
They got Burger King?
You
got all these things.
Not good, yo.
And he was hot. He said, you sent all this junk down here. Well, I said, my dear friend, you don't have to what?
Eat it.
It's your choice. You're looking for a world where there is no junk, you'll never find it. I said, it's your choice. And what is now there originated here, look at us. I said, I'm surrounded by more than you have. I said, but nobody's got a gun at my head making me go and eat it. You can't blame Burger King for your stroke, right? Yeah. So diet and exercise. Now, having said all that, we go look at the brain. A couple of facts about the brain. The neurotransmitter that is probably most closely associated with feeling good, being in a good mood this morning, I feel good, man, it's a good day, is called serotonin. And that's basically what that paragraph said. Your moods are affected by the serotonin levels in your brain, circulation, neurotransmitter levels, lots of things in the brain kind of now I want to raise my serotonin. How do I do it? Two options, right? You can take an SSRI drug, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor drug, which will raise your levels of serotonin, or you can what?
Go walk.
Take a walk. Now here's Harvard Health Publications. Harvard's really a good one to go to. I'll tell you why I like Harvard Health and Harvard Research Center, Harvard, all these Harvard things. Because, it's a very secular perspective, but they're very open to anything natural if it can be proven by science. So you look at Harvard talking about charcoal or whatever, and they line up with just what our organization would think. They're very fact-based in science. You say hydrotherapy, you show me some science. Okay, hot and cold water, open and closing the blood vessels, stimulates production of white blood cells, increases heart. Okay. I like Harvard. Harvard says exercise and depression. If you want to get rid of it, go out and take a walk. And only one study, 3 groups. One, Zoloft, SSRI drug. Other group, exercise. Other group, both. Now, guess which group got help?
The exercise and
Both.
other one.
Actually,
Both.
all 3.
Mm.
They all 3 did. So if you just left the drugs behind and exercised, you got the same benefit as those taking the drugs, or those taking the drugs and exercising. Now their conclusion, the scientists, their conclusion, Archives of Internal Medicine, was this suggests, now put it in plain language, what's the study showing? This suggests that what? If you're looking for an alternative to drugs, what? Now, if you take drugs, There it is, right? Picture of it, a living picture. Are there some negative side effects with antidepressants?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a list here in just a minute. Are there some negative side effects with exercise?
No.
No. By the way, somebody will say you can get out there in the sun and get skin cancer. Any too much of a good thing is a what?
Bad thing.
If you run 3 marathons a day, don't expect to live too long, right? But you know, moderate exercise, exercising common sense, a walk every day will help you with depression. And that works just as well as drugs. But will it help you metabolize fat at a higher rate? Will it raise your metabolic rate 24 hours a day?
Mm-hmm.
Will it help to boost, will it help to give new life to the insulin resistant receptors on the muscle cells in your body? Yes. So if you have osteoporosis with some exercise helping to strengthen the bones? Yes. Exercise is a win-win-win-win-win situation. So now, antidepressants and suicide. So let's apply this. Let's say, and then I'll ask you a question. Let's say I'm the doctor. We use New York because the prices are so high there. Before a doctor can prescribe a drug for you, he must first make a diagnosis. So you come to me, I evaluate you, $400 please. That's right. I can't make a diagnosis without evaluation. I got to talk to you, evaluate you, and find out what your problem is. $400 please. Boom, 400. Then they diagnose you as number one diagnosis, bipolar. You're bipolar. I write your prescription. And a street drug, Prozac, 30-day supply, I looked up on Google, $390. Let's round it off to 400. You just spent $800. You get home. By the way, you came to me because you said, I'm entertaining suicidal thoughts. I'm thinking about killing myself. Bipolar. When you get down, you get destructive, don't you? Yes, bipolar. I give you a prescription, Prozac. You go home, you spend $800, and in your hand you got Prozac. You open the bottle up and you read that and it says this may make you kill yourself. You call me up and you say, how can you give me a pill that might kill me? This is why I came to you to get some help. And I say, here's my question to you. What do you want me to do? I got no other option. Now you answer me. I got no other option.
Yes.
What do you want me to do?
Exercise.
Now,
Vegetarian.
pause. Did you hear her answer?
Exercise.
Now pause. You come to me. I say, let me evaluate you. $400 please. You be the patient. I'm not a doctor. $400. You pay your $400, and then I write you a prescription. You go home. I lightened your pocketbook by $400. You go home. You open it up, and it says, "Take a walk." How do you feel?
Wrong.
Ridiculous.
Thank you. Well said.
Yeah.
We don't want the plan. We think it stinks.
Mm-hmm.
We want a what?
Pill.
Because it doesn't require any what?
Effort.
But you get your pill with the warning, and you say, money well spent. This is how upside down mental health is in this world. Now, thermography. When you have a picture, these heat images, you have metabolic activity, high circulation, you get oranges and reds. Now, when you go out in the winter up in New Jersey, what part of your body gets coldest first? Yeah, that's why you wear gloves and things. Your ears and your fingers and everything. Because in your ears, there's not a whole lot of circulation. That's why things on your ears.
Oh,
Yeah, pretty
that's how I feel
simple.
like my ears gonna fall off my
Yeah,
head.
they will fall off your head if they don't get some circulation. Right? No circulation, it falls off. Yeah, this is the problem with Berger's disease. There are a lot of diseases out there, circulation diseases. Now, there's your infrared thermography of an ear. There's your infrared thermography of a brain. Now, which brain? Don't read anything yet. Which brain do you want? The one on the right or the one on the left?
Right.
Now, of course, this was not a mental health study. This was a study of university students taking final exams. So they took 2 groups of students. They said, you guys go take a hike before you take the test. You guys sit still. And the ones that took the test with this kind of brain were the ones that did what?
Better.
And guess which ones had higher grades?
The ones that took the walk.
Pretty simple. Exercise. Now back to Neil Nedley. Debilitating depression seems to be marked by an interesting phenomena of diminished circulation in the frontal lobe. Harvard said, you want to raise serotonin? Take a what? Walk. They say if you want to raise serotonin, take a walk. If you want to raise circulation, do what? Take a walk. Now, is it okay for me to say now the first law of mental stability is you got to keep the health laws? It's okay, yeah, okay. Boom, thumbs up. You got to keep the health laws. Is that reasonable? If you eat junk food, you stay up to 2 a.m., you never exercise, can you expect to be crazy? Yes. Yeah. Sunlight, right? Good food, serotonin levels. Sunshine raises serotonin levels. I'm not saying it does it. It's not radical, it's not drastic. But you know, good lifestyle, you don't lose calories 10 pounds a day, right? It's gradual, it's slow, it's sure. And then last but not least, 3-day cardiac diet. I'm not too much into 3-day diets, but I like the one on the left. This is the lifetime cardiac diet, taken from the book, Ministry of Healing. Grains, fats, nuts, and now read this. We probably all read this 100 times. But if you notice this time when I read it, we get down to the part where it says it'll make you smarter. It'll sharpen your mind. That's the part I'm looking for this morning. Grains, fruits, nuts, and vegetables constitute the diet chosen for us by our Creator. These foods prepared in a simple and natural manner as possible are the most healthful and nourishing. They impart a strength, a power of endurance, and a what? Now, if anybody needed help with a vigorous intellect, it's me. I got to have some vigor in my intellect. What do? Get up in the morning, take a walk, go to a good breakfast, get up, go to work, some physical exercise. Isn't that a simple plan? That's simple. I was in Jamaica. This was for Camp Burley outside of Kingston. And this was, years ago. Kingston's a good place. My favorite people are in Jamaica. Next to my wife. A land of warmth and enthusiasm and friendship. And the food's good too. So we were in Camp Burley. Darlene was doing some kind of 8 o'clock thing. I did something at 9 o'clock on brains. And I did something on sanity and exercise. And a Jamaican lady jumped up. She said, brother, church member, brother, now we understand. I said, you understand what? She said, every morning we see you walking around the field. You're not doing it to be healthy, you're doing it to be sane. And I said, that's right. Now the next morning our 35 Jamaican students were where?
Walking around the field.
And if you stop and say, what are you doing? They're trying to get our brains to work right. And because that's it. So I got a law. Now let me give a suggestion. You got to have, in order to have a habit, you have to do it more than once. But if you do it for long enough and you do it faithfully enough, it becomes so ingrained you don't even have to think about it. Isn't that true? So I've got a law in my life. It really helps me. When that sun says 5 o'clock in the morning, it's a law. I'm walking Sunday through Friday, every day, come rain, hail, or high water.
Oh boy!
Because let me give you 2 or 3 or 4 reasons. Check my clock. I'm good. Let me give you 2 or 3 or 4 reasons. It's a very high-paced world we live in today, right? Pagers, beepers, cell phones. Any man worth his salt, once he gets rolling into his day, you can't slow him down. You be honest. If you don't get your exercise in the morning, when do you get it?
Harder.
It's harder.
Yeah.
We say, spiritually speaking, if you don't get your spiritual food in the morning, when are you going to take a break and get it during the day?
I miss it.
Yeah. So I say first things first. And a lady was in a class at Wildwood Hospital. She says, brother, I'm going to call me brother. Luke 11 verse 2, when you pray, say our Father. So if we have the same Father, it makes me your brother. But don't call me brother unless you treat me like your. Why be a hypocrite? Right? Yeah, why be a hypocrite? So is that my brother? Yes. So I should treat you like my, or son, whatever, you're young. Well, she said, well, brother, what do? Do you walk first or do you pray first? I got a tricky question.
You feed your kids.
I said, well, Genesis 5:24. Enoch walked with God. And then it said God took him. I said, do the same, both at the same time. Isn't that a good thing to do while you walk? Yeah, walk and pray. Is that legal? Yeah, so I do it, but at the same time, I don't do either one first. I do them together, right? I walk, I exercise, I pray. Physical exercise, mental exercise, emotional exercise, social exercise, all in one. It's a one package deal. But you got to have you got to have laws in your life. or you won't stick with it. So I think that is, let me just throw this in, just since I got since it's so early. I'm just take a couple more minutes, I'll be done. You know, the great law of calories, 3,500 calories equals 1 pound. This is not part of the thing, this is for something else, but it illustrates the point. 3,500 calories equals 1 pound. All these kind of fad diets in the Walmart checkout line, lose 60 pounds in 60 days. Now that's a lot of foolishness. Or take the extract from asparagus and lose 20 pounds in 2 days. That's ridiculous. The law of health is 3,500 calories equals 1 pound. If I eat 3,500, I burn 3,500, how much weight did I lose or gain? None.
3,000.
I burned 7,000, eat 3,500, I lost 1 pound. You got to consume less or burn more if you want to lose weight. So we had an obesity program a while back. Elizabeth and Darlene, you know, we had the foods marked, how many calories. This was like 3, 4, 5 years ago. Elizabeth's been here for off and on for a long time. So they go up there and they say to our guest, 100 tomatoes, how many calories?
100.
Take them next to the tomatoes, you got the cucumbers. 7 cups, how many calories? There's the lettuce, 20 cups.
100.
And then Elizabeth looks at the guests and she says, they say, well, how much can we eat of all these things? Butternut squash, there's some radishes, there's some onions, there's some lettuce, there's some tomatoes. It's a salad bar. How much can we eat? And Darlene and Elizabeth say what?
As much as you want.
They say it takes more energy to metabolize the food than it is in the food. You lose weight just by eating it. You know, I don't, but yeah, as much as you want. When you're eating an unprocessed, unrefined diet, you don't have to worry about what you eat. Be careful on the peanut butter, but you don't need to hardly worry about what you eat because you'll get up to the ideal weight and you'll stay there. It's really so simple, right? But when you eat that, and this is why we don't serve refined oils, it really makes it difficult to lose and maintain, a good weight, lose weight and maintain a good weight, right? And this is a good picture, and I'll end on this. If you have 400 calories of oil in your stomach is still empty. And by the way, can you eat your brain right out of its ability to reason and think? Yes. Eat for strength and not for drunkenness. Solomon. 400 calories in your stomach is still empty. The satiety, factors and all the impulses that say stop eating, they don't operate. Your stomach is 400 calories, but it's still empty. 400 calories of chicken in your stomach is still more or less. But 400 calories of salad bar, what? You're jam-packed full. You can't eat anymore. The law of physiology. So the unprocessed, unrefined foods, and we try to do that here, nothing processed, nothing refined, no free oils. Try to do what we can. And that's the law, right? That unprocessed, unrefined, not fried, baked, boiled. That's so simple. Right? Okay, I'll pray. All right. Father in heaven, the brain is affected by our health. Let me pause for 1 second. Pause. One last question. If you're on a really good diet, if you're on a good diet, you go to bed early, you're getting your exercise, you're keeping the health laws, can you still be one absolutely miserable human being? Thank you. So it must be more than the diet. So you can't say, and this is what the world says, because Barnard and Greger and T. Colin Campbell and Esselstyn will say just what we're saying. That's where they stop. Forks over knives. You watch that and everybody's seen it, right? Not one word about God. They can't go there. Nobody buy the DVD. It would cause an uproar. So they stay away from that. In secular psychology class at Dartmouth, you can't say Jesus. So how can you fix the brain without God? You can't. This is why they don't fix the brain. So I'm saying it's a lot more than that, because there are a lot of people lifting weights on Muscle Beach in California that are healthier than we are. No, maybe not we, but you know what I mean. It's more than just the health laws. But certainly I can say, first law, physical factors, but if that's all you got, you don't have much. There's a whole lot more to stick with it. All right, Father in heaven, it's one among many, and I pray you help us to understand how the physical and the mental are closely united. I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.